hello everybody. We're back in the world of Fallout, and here we have Tenpines. As you can see, I've been doing some building here, and I wanted to share with you what I've got so far. I don't know how much more is going to be built here, but as of right now, we've got a pretty good building going on here. As you can see, the place is ringed by security. We have turret stands on all of the major approaches. And then we have a main gate right here next to the original shack. So long, Lucas. See you next time you're here. Probably about a day and a half. The shack is scheduled to be the crafting area, and this is going to end up being the market area. Because for some reason Marcus really prefers to walk on this side when he comes here, I put this door in place just so he has a way to get back and forth to the workbenches, because he really loves working with the workbenches. As we come in, you can see the elevated terrain gave me the idea that this is an excellent spot for my first guard tower, which looks out over the approach from the rope bridge. Here we have our farmlands, center part of the community here at Tenpines. Here is our water pump producing 10 water. You'll notice that I have the wiring buried beneath the ground. This second turret, or guard post, stands facing the other major approach from the south side of the environment. And then we have the first of the houses that I've built here in the community. For some reason, McCready won't come up in here, and I have not seen any settlers up in here, which is a shame because I built this house with the idea that the settlers would live here. The original settlers. However, I'm not going to fret about that in any way, shape, or form, because that makes this a wonderful spot to assign guards to. So I will end up as if the settlers simply can't path into here, this will end up being the guard's house, and being they never sleep, it'll never be an issue. They'll have the beds that they require. As you can see, the wall continues around. This house actually is part of the wall system. It moves around here, and we have another guard post right here. This allows a view into this rocky ravine, and also up onto this hill. It's outside the build area, so we needed something facing that. Obviously, building in rocks is very difficult. I could not get purchase to put a fence through here, so we're just going to count on our defenses if anything comes running through on that side. And that brings us around here to our electrical shed. As you can see, I've reached level 41. I was able to get science high enough to make fusion core generators. So now we are powered by fusion. And this level will end up decorated with probably a desk, right up here, some railing so that he doesn't fall through the one gap. I'm figuring that somebody would need something to operate the generator safely. As you can see, we have an artillery piece. It is waiting for somebody to be assigned to it at the moment, but he has his own little place to stay right off the artillery so that he's always on hand for when those smoke grenades get thrown out. Here's the other gate. This one leads off this direction because that's where the provisioner likes to walk through. I do prefer to have gates put in place where provisioners enter and leave locations. On a clear day, you can see almost all the way to the Flight 1981 crash site. So this is a good, strong defense. On this wall, we've got two relatively close guard posts. Nice fighting positions. And that leads us to another house here on the side of the encampment. IRA have witnessed the farmers in here, so I know that they can come in here. You'll notice that the seating in here is airplane seating. They keep going down to raid the crash flight. So now we get to the reconstructed existing house. This house was here, as you know. I spent a little bit of time pushing some walls in place. I put the floor in place until I could snap walls where I wanted them. None of these walls are pillar or rug glitched in place. Obviously, you can't rug glitch a snappable item anyway. Then we have the stairs up to the second floor. McCready will come up here. I have not seen the settlers up here as of yet, but I put their beds down here when I started building anyway, so that's probably the extent. There's one of my settlers that I moved here from the Sunshine Tidings. And here we have something I had talked about in another person's stream, I believe it was Dag's stream, that I wanted to use this space as a quote-unquote covered sewer. So, you know, they put some plywood over the ditch at this end, and here we have our outhouse. I think Sardiliac built an outhouse similar to this at some point in one of his streams or one of his build videos. I'm not sure which. I've watched a lot of his stuff, but I did like the construction, so I duplicated it here, and it gives a really nice spot for them to do their business, central to the farm and to all the houses. And it takes advantage of this ditch, which is covered, and as you can see, it's full of water. Okay, it probably isn't the best smelling place in the Commonwealth, but because one of the options is placing something called dirty bathwater in, and then you can glitch it into one of the existing tubs, I put a whole lot of it underneath this building and have it kind of lapping up against this pile of leaves here, and as you can see, the board that was going across here has been knocked loose and is buried in this muck, and nobody's willing to pick it up, so eventually somebody's going to have to do that repair. So that is what we have here at Tenpines. Like I said, eventually the interior of this is going to be the workshop for the armor, the weapons, and the chems, and the vendor stalls will be out here. This is a high traffic area. There's a beaten path. I'm not going to call it a roadway going that way. This path leads to the rope bridge over here across the gap, and the majority of people who would be traveling in the area would just pass right by. So this is a great area for setting up your market stalls. Then you come over here, and this is the spot where Lucas likes to set up, and as I may have mentioned, he shows up very frequently here, about every 3 days I notice him in the area, which I'm not going to complain about. That's a good place for him to come to. But then we have our farm, somewhat densely packed, potatoes and corn. When I add another farmer to the mix, I will probably add mudfruit trees around the buildings, giving them something pleasant to be around. And of course, the mudfruit trees with the potatoes and the corn allow me to make adhesive. So it's a highly functional farm. Now, if we look back at this house that I put up here, one of the things I'm actually fairly proud of is I did use these stone walls. These actually were the ones that were scattered around here. There's one still left. I picked them up with a pillar and I moved them into the foundation. Give it some semblance, and you can see I like the way that the support beams are showing through. You can tell that the it's been put up with wood, but then they pack these stones in here with the idea that they are protecting that foundation. And I will walk around to the outside to show you from the outside. It is both structural in the idea that it helps lift the foundation up, but it also prevents somebody from being able to crawl underneath the building. Not really necessary in the area where it's very close to the ground, and this building actually becomes part of our exterior wall facing south. I'm rather happy with it, which is even more upsetting as to why I haven't seen a settler go into this location. However, that is the perils of building imaginatively. I did want to make sure that this was a structure that was quite different than the boxes that I normally make. This one over here is also, I L-shaped it to give it some character. When they get a Brahmin here, the feeding trough is behind it, so we could imagine that this is going to be the farmer who cares for the Brahmin lives in this house, so he's nearby his herd. Obviously, they still have a nice little picnic area set up. Oh, it looks like they were planning a cookout here. So, absolutely something that I can enjoy visiting time and time again. And that's it for my Tenpines build at this time. Hopefully, when I have a full set of settlers here, I will be able to bring you guys back and show you the completed Tenpines Bluff. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your gaming.